Hi and welcome to another video from My Money Calculator. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find out whether or not it is worth buying an investment property. I've shown you in other videos how to find out whether or not you can afford an investment property and how much it is going to cost you. And so now we're going to look at whether or not it is worth it. You can see that I have open the investment property calculator, which you can download for free only from mymoneycalculator.com. This is Australia's most powerful free investment property calculator. Now I'm going to open a scenario that I ran through in the Can I Afford an Investment Property video. So what I'm going to do is click Open Scenario up the top left. I'm going to navigate to the file, double click it, and click Import. Okay, so this is a scenario where we entered in a lot of assumptions about yourself and a property that you're planning on purchasing this year. So what we're going to do is scroll down to the View Results button, and we're going to click that and go to the Reports page. Now what we're interested in is this property investment worth it for you? So what we're going to do is click on the Compare Scenarios button in the Entire Situation section. And that's going to take us to the Scenario Comparison page. Now what this page lets us do is compare two different scenarios, and it shows us the difference between each. So we can select a year from the top, and it will show us a comparison in that year for all these different variables such as the assets and loans, cash flow and tax. And then we can look to the right and we can see a graph for equity, cash and taxes over the 30-year period. So what we're going to do is label this scenario Property. And we're going to click the Copy to Comparison button just above the scenario name. Now you can see that we have two scenarios compared side by side and a change column that'll show us the difference between them. Now at the moment there is no change, as symbolized by this yellow arrow pointing to the right. And if we look over to the graph, we can see that the figures are the same for all of the years moving into the future. So now I'm going to open a scenario that I've saved previously by again clicking Open Scenario, navigating to the file, and clicking Import. Now I'm going to call this scenario Savings. And I'll just show you quickly the inputs that are involved in this scenario. So I'm going to click the Home button up the top left. And you can see here that while the figures are exactly the same for the personal details and the date and the inflation rate, the property details are no longer there. So in this scenario, we're assuming that you're not going to purchase the property and you're just going to carry on with your savings, your salary, your living expenses, and the interest that you earn on your savings. So now we can go back and compare these two scenarios. So now we can find out what we're really interested in here, which is of course, is it worth buying the investment property? So let's examine the equity available. You can see on the equity comparison graph that there is substantially more equity available in later years in the property scenario. And we can see in the figures to the left that after 1 year, there is already $8,500 more equity in the property scenario. Let's take a closer look at 10 years from now. What we can see is that in the savings scenario, the savings account has grown to around $365,000, which is the same as the equity figure. In the property scenario, we can see the savings account is smaller by about $150,000, and we can see also that the property value has grown to roughly $733,000, and the loan amount remaining is $331,000, making the equity available around $610,000. So the difference after 10 years will be approximately $250,000. Now let's take a look at the cash flow 10 years from now. We can see that the total cash surplus or deficit is going to be roughly $20,000 less in the property scenario. So the cash left over is going to be significantly reduced in future years in order to fund some of the investment property expenses and pay down the loan. And we can see this on the cash flow comparison graph. Finally, while less important, we can see the total taxes paid over the 10-year period for both scenarios. And what you can see is that over 10 years, there is a tax saving of roughly $52,000 in the property scenario. So you could say that when comparing these two scenarios, because of the substantially higher amount of equity in the property scenario, the investment property is worth purchasing. So congratulations, you've seen how to find out whether or not an investment property is really worth it. So this is just one of the many reports available in the investment property calculator. Don't forget to check out the others in order to see all the figures you want to know about buying an investment property. As I mentioned earlier, this is the most powerful free investment property calculator in Australia. Now say you want to enter details for a home with a mortgage, shares or managed funds, including using a margin loan, super or a self-managed super fund, including borrowing to buy property or shares within super, as well as details for up to 10 investment properties, and be able to change details like interest rates, salary, bonuses, and one-off expenses like a holiday in any year that you want to, or for two investors. You can do all this and more in the Money Calculator, which you can also download for free only from mymoneycalculator.com.au. Also keep up to date with new free online and downloadable calculators, new calculator features, useful guides and articles, and more helpful videos by following us on Twitter or Facebook. Thanks for watching.